worked in that place with the artist. We have so many more believers in our community now than we did 15 years ago when we started, and so there's a lot, there's a more openness and a willingness to engage in prayer and conversation about the Lord and what God is doing, and just so we're moving more and more in a discipleship, intentionally discipling people. So praying for the artist is, it's like praying for other people. For some, I guess there's more like a childlike faith and a simplicity to their faith, which is it's an interesting place to be because you're praying with an adult, but yet you have at times somebody that has a real childlike mentality or faith. And so it can be a really interesting combination because you can go in places of boldness there where you might not be able to go in those same places of boldness with an adult without a disability. There's just more of a, I think sometimes authentic nature or openness or vulnerability to be open to new things or things that the Lord might be saying, particularly people that have developmental disabilities, cognitive disabilities. And then also, people that have higher functioning disabilities like mental illness, I think oftentimes they recognize their need so significantly that they are very open to prayer, and that they're experiencing a lot of just tragedy and challenge in their life. And so their need for the gospel and their need for prayer and their openness to that is also different, I think. Yeah, I think the artists do enjoy the liturgical prayer. I don't know that it was necessarily something that they had experience with, so I don't think it's because of familiarity. And it's interesting because some of their reading levels even are challenged. I see the artists that they're really not mature in ways of necessarily praying out loud. I think that they're growing in that. And so the liturgical reading and prayer, I think, offers it's just, it's a comfort zone sort of widened out a little bit where there's some readings and there's some specific readings out of the Bible. And I think generally speaking, our community is not digging into the Word on their own. And so the daily liturgical prayer that happens in the AHOP community may be the only time that some of those artists access the Word of God because somebody's literally reading it to them. Well, there's so many resources available to believers for prayer, and I was thinking about a little bit about that, and I am a book junkie. I love Henry Blackaby has taught me a whole lot about who God is and experiencing God. And Henry Nouwen has been one of my favorites in the last few years, and just his latter half of his year and his experience in the large community has had, it's connected with me in a sense that I feel like he was communicating kind of that prayer in motion and that meeting Jesus through the context of service and that concept. And so I've really enjoyed a couple of books of his. Daybreak was one, and another book called Adam have been significant. But the biggest resource for me right now is really just the body of believers and connecting with other believers that are just helping me to grow as a Christian and learn how to pray and learn how to see God and hear God and be obedient to God.